Hello, class. So, we're going to get into our spelling list for this week, which is Unit 23. So, our first word is share. S-H-A-R-E, share. The example sentence is, I will do my share of the work. The definition is to divide and give out in portions. So, in this photo, we can see they are sharing this loaf of bread. But in the example sentence, it says, I will do my share of the work, meaning you're dividing the work. And each person will have a portion of that work to do, which is similar to the idea of splitting up a bread. You split up the work. Number 2, cart. C-A-R-T, cart. The definition of a cart is a heavy, two-wheeled open vehicle drawn by an animal. But this can also be a cart. I decided to add a picture of this as well because that's what we're used to. If we go shopping, we use this kind of cart. But the example sentence says, the horse pulled a heavy cart because this is also a type of cart. And the horse pulled it, usually used back in the olden days. Number 3, beware. B-E-W-A-R-E, beware. The definition of beware is to be cautious and on guard. The example sentence says, we must beware of poison ivy. So beware just means to be aware, but it's basically that definition mushed together to be one word, beware. Just means you're being very careful and cautious. Number 4, rare. R-A-R-E, rare. The definition of rare means something that is uncommon or not very common. The example sentence says, a cold day in June is rare. That means you almost never see a cold day in June. In this photo, we see a person that is red in the middle of all these blue people. So what this is saying is it's rare to find a red person. That's just an example. It's not real. Obviously, we don't have red people and blue people, but it's just saying that, it's hard to find certain type of things sometimes. Or maybe it's hard to find a certain type of person. Maybe this is a nice person, a good-hearted person in the middle of a bunch of not nice people, and it's hard to find people like that. You think of that how you want. But rare means something that is hard to find or uncommon. Number 5, charge. C-H-A-R-G-E, charge. The definition of charge is to give someone responsibility or duty. Another definition is a requested price or fee. The example sentence says, put the charge on my bill. Now we also know there's another charge as we use today with technology. You have to charge a phone. But according to these definitions, charge is somebody who is in charge, somebody who's in responsibility, like this last picture, or a requested price or fee. So when you go to eat somewhere, they charge you what you bought. They charge you what you ordered. So everything has a price, and they charge you that price. They are asking for that money in return for what you ordered. Number 6, stare. S-T-A-R-E, stare. The definition of stare is to look at in a fixed, intense way, usually with one's eyes wide open, or to gaze intently. The example sentence says, we tried not to stare at the movie stars. In this picture, we can see a little baby with his eyes very wide open. Looks like he's staring right at us, right? So that's usually the face somebody has of when they're staring. Number 7, market. M-A-R-K-E-T, market. The definition of a market is a store that sells a certain type of goods, especially food. Example sentence says, we bought food at the market. And this is usually what a market looks like. So we have markets like Publix or Walmart. Walmart also has a market in there. There's also natural markets like a farmer's market. They raise food and then they sell it. Those are all different types of markets. Number 8, Compare. 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 The definition of compare is to note the likenesses and differences of. The example sentence says, do not compare apples and oranges. So here, comparing apples and oranges would be to say how they are similar and say how they are different. Well, how they are similar, really. To say how they are different would be to contrast. As you can see here, we have compare and contrast. So to compare is usually, even though the definition says the differences, comparing is most known for saying how they are the same. Alarm. 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 The definition of alarm is a sudden apprehension marked by distress or anxiety. The example sentence says, that noise will alarm the baby. So alarm is usually, we have our alarms that we set in the morning to wake up. So the sound that the alarm makes is something that will scare you, not scare you really, but it will like throw you off and it will kind of startle you. So when something alarms you, it's like it catches your attention in like a very extreme way. Number 10, parent. 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 The definition of a parent is a mother, a father, or a guardian. So somebody who usually takes care of you. And it's usually somebody that gave birth to you. Not just a mother, but like your father is your biological father. So those are usually your parents. The example sentence says, take this note to your parent. And in the photo you can see the big person is probably the parent of the little person. Number 11, chart. C-H-A-R-T, chart. The definition of a chart is a display of information in a graph or something similar. An example sentence is, did you chart your progress? So in this sentence, it's saying chart your progress as a verb, as in marking down the progress in a chart similar to this. Number 12, spare. S-P-A-R-E, spare. The definition of spare is to allow or afford, to refrain from injuring or destroying, or something extra. The example sentence says, can you spare a pencil for me? So in the example sentence, it's asking if somebody could let them borrow a pencil, usually an extra pencil, which is something in the one type of definition. A spare is something extra. As this man is doing, he's putting a spare tire into his car. So something happened to one of the tires and he's putting his extra tire there in place for right now. But we can also use spare as the first and second definition. To allow or afford means like what the example sentence is. But to refrain from injuring is when you spare somebody's life. That means that you didn't take their life, or you spare their feelings, meaning you're not going to hurt their feelings. So to spare somebody's feelings is to refrain from hurting their feeling. So as it says here, to refrain from injuring or destroying. Number 13 is charm. C-H-A-R-M, charm. The definition of charm is the capability to delight and please, attractiveness, or an ornament. So the first and second definition of charm is usually to kind of please somebody, to do something to make them feel attracted to you somehow. Maybe not like appearance-wise, but something about your personality makes them drawn to you. And the last definition, an ornament, is usually like a charm bracelet. So a little piece of jewelry that goes onto a bracelet or something like that. So an ornament of some type. The example sentence says the dancers have grace and charm. So as you can see, the dancers are, very graceful as they're dancing, and it draws our attention to them with their charm. Number 14 is scare. S-C-A-R-E, scare. The definition of scare is to frighten or startle. The example sentence says, "The dark does not scare me." So to scare someone is to frighten them or to startle them. And this man obviously looks frightened or startled. And number 15, apart. A-P-A-R-T, apart. The definition is separated by time or space, or to keep at a distance. The example sentence is, "He took the clock apart." Apart is a perfect description of what we are all doing right now. We have to stay apart from each other so that we can stay safe, so that we don't get this virus that's going around, and so we don't spread the virus, right? We're trying to get rid of it so we can go back to being together. These fish right here are apart. They're in two different bowls and they wish that they could be together. I kind of feel for these fishes right now because that's how I feel right now. But that concludes our spelling list for this week. In case you guys didn't notice, the spelling pattern is that all the words have an R or air sound to it. So you see here, apart, charm, chart, alarm, they have the R sounds, but then we also have the words with the air sound, like scare, spare, parent, or compare. So we have the air and R sound in our spelling list for this week. Your assignment is to get your spelling activities done for this week, and it's due on Friday, just like you've been doing the past 2 weeks. So same thing, make sure you study your words for your spelling quiz this Friday.